Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be telling you all about the weapons and the tools and the best ones that you can use. We are in Sandbox. I put them all up on the wall so you can see them all in their glory. All the shields, or the weapons, all the things that we're going to be talking about today. And I thought today we could start off with talking about the shields. Well, this is probably the best shield you can have, is the Knight shield. The other two, I mean, the knockback shield is okay for knocking back people, running at them. You just hold it and you can run at them, and it will do a little bit of damage. I think it's about 3 damage it will do. Yeah, let's have a look at that. We'll throw this dude down. And he's got his own shield, and we can run at him when he's not blocking, and there you go, just 3 damage. And it blocks just the same as the other ones, but because it's a blue shield, it doesn't take a lot of damage as the other ones. So we can put this one in our inventory, and as you can see, it's got dynamite on it. Now this does do 16 damage, the same as dynamite. We'll just let him hit us, but yeah, just 16 damage. And what will happen is it will, as you can see, it will do damage, 16 damage, and that's it. It's gone. It can't be replaced. You can't put it back on it. As you can see, it just replaces it in your inventory. So the best shield that you can use is the iron shield, of course. It's just going to last you longer. It is the most expensive to build out of all of them, costing like 15 iron, but it's going to last you the longest. It's going to take as many shots, and this shield can actually block brutes. It can block his punch attack. I would probably use the Knight shield over any of the others. I mean, it's a little bit more expensive, but it's gonna last you the longest. We do have a spyglass here, which can be used just by pressing your right trigger, and it can see quite a distance. I don't think most people use these. I know I definitely don't use these, but they can come in handy for if you're wandering around and trying to find things and you don't want to go off into the distance. You can see in the distance, although there will be a rendering issue. You can't see everything that's in a distance, like enemies and things like that. But that's just a simple spyglass. We do have some of the good things in here are the stink jar. These are all throwable items, and I'll show you. If you have, let's just say you was in a cave or something like that, and you had some enemies, they couldn't get to you, somewhat like this, like say you was up high in a cave, and you had some enemies that were stuck, multiple enemies. That's what the stink jar is going to be good for. So we'll just throw that in there, and you can't multiple ones don't stack. Look, if I throw another one there, it will still, that is hitting them, but it will only do 4 damage. But it's very good because if they can't move, then it's gonna do as much damage as possible, which is much better than the things like the thermal detonator or the dynamite. As you can see, it took them out. 2 hits that was. These are the snow, the skeletons that you find in the snow. But if I just throw, see, I'll just put a box here. I put this especially here for this. Just throw another couple in there, and as you can see, if I throw dynamite, which does 16 damage, this one does, and this isn't going to do as much as you can see. Look, didn't do nowhere near as much as the stink jar did. See how much that did? Stink jar took it out with 2. So whereas the stink jars took the skeleton out in 2 hits. With 2 jars, it took 6 to take out, or more with the dynamite, and that does 16 damage. And you got the thermal detonators that do 23. They go off a bit quicker than the dynamite, And of course they are more powerful, but again it's still going to take a lot more to take these out. As you can see, that took 4, but the thermal detonators can be pretty decent. So the stink jar is going to be one of your best things for grouped enemies, and then you're going to have the thermal detonators, which you can throw a bit further than you can the stink jars, and the dynamites I think are kind of useless. So that's all of your throwables there. So we've got here a grappler, and you're going to get 30 grapples in this, and it can be decent for getting places to glide, but it's not going to, if you want to get up high, it's not going to like throw you up. That's about as far as you're going to go with it, really, from something like this. But if you've got something much higher, you can grapple up, and it can be decent, but they are kind of expensive to make with blast powder. I don't think the grappler gun is that good, to be honest. So I think the much better option for gliding around. This is going to be good for getting to places high. And then the flintlock is it's going to be good for just shooting you off anywhere you want to go. You just shoot it off the ground. I don't think this is going to be very good for fighting enemies because it does shoot you back quite far. It does do quite a bit of damage, but look, as you can see, it shoots you back a fair bit. And I like to use it for just getting around quickly like this and just shooting the ground and gliding away. I think that's probably the only the thing it's good for, in my opinion. And you do get a fair amount of shots from it. I think it was 60 shots you get from this. One of the things I do like using is the pirate musket, which does have a zoom effect on it, which can be pretty decent. It's not as much as the spyglass, but if you don't like carrying it, like the spyglass around with you, this can be an alternative, because it does do a decent amount of damage as well, at 42. Now this can't be upgraded, the same as the flintlock, but like I say, it does do a decent amount of damage, and it doesn't really shoot you back that far. All the ranged weapons have a slow projectile though, just bear that in mind. I think they're all just about as slow as the crossbow. We do have an E11 blaster, which I do think is useless. You're going to get like 15 shots out of this. You get more than 15 shots out of this. It's the bowcaster you get 15 shots out of. But this is very weak and it's not worth the time, honestly. 3 damage, you're going to be there forever shooting your enemies. Forever. The same with the DL44. They can be useful if you pick them up, I guess, and you've got nothing else to use. But again, this is quite slow. This is as fast as I can shoot it, and not that useful at all. Again, you can see how fast the projectiles go. So if your enemy's moving around left to right, you're gonna have to, maybe lead your shot a little bit, just like with the bowcaster. Bowcaster is actually pretty decent. Again, not too bad, I guess. So the crossbow, can be upgraded, and it's pretty fast reloading, and you have the added benefit of picking up your projectiles. And like I said, you can upgrade it, so. You can upgrade its damage, you can upgrade its durability, anything you like. If you haven't seen my video on the runes and the rune forge and what's best for your weapons and tools, you can go and check that out. I'll put the link in the description for you. So in summary, out of the ranged weapons, you really, in my opinion, you only want to be using the recursive crossbow and the pirate musket. The bowcaster is kind of expensive to make. All of these weapons, the Star Wars weapons, are very expensive to make. Not very useful. Maybe if you pick them off the ground. But I would definitely recommend the pirate musket, although it does have a slow reload. It can be fun to use, and like I say, it's quite powerful, and you know, you can one hit enemies with it. And the flintlock pistol, and again another very good weapon to have. The flintlock is. So for the melee weapons, the best one that, in my opinion, you can have is the longsword. This is its speed. It's got like a 4 combo attack. 1, 2, 3, and 4 little spin attack there, and it's not too slow. And it's got a good jump attack where you can move straight after. If you keep pushing forwards, you can do constant jump shots with it. Look how fast you can get these jump shots in. So that's like 30 damage if you've got the triple damage rune on your sword. You'll be doing 30 damage with jump shots in quite quickly. Now, one thing I don't like is the throwing spear. I don't think it's that great. It does do, I think, also one less damage. Yeah, one less damage than the long sword. And although it's got a throwing mechanic where you hold it and it throws it, so you can just hold it like this, and it brings up a little, you know, thing, and you can throw it. So you can do distance, but you can have, you know, if you've got a crossbow, then or a musket, then that's probably going to be much better to you be using as a ranged weapon. As for this, it does have a decent attack speed. Another 4 combo attack. But the one thing I don't like about this is the jump attack. You can't. That's it. That's when I can move. You get stuck in place. You can't move. You know, you can't even jump after it. You can't cancel this animation out, and that's what makes this weapon really bad in my eyes. It just freezes you in place. Another one, in my opinion, that's really bad is the hunting dagger. It's only good for creeping up on enemies, and you get those attacks, and you get a crit attack. So very weak. So the only one you want to be using out of your melee weapons really is a long sword. There is the green lightsaber, or the red lightsaber, or the blue lightsaber, which they only do 9 damage and it can't be upgraded. They're basically the same as a sword. It's got a 4 combo attack, and you can do the same with the lightsaber and do your quick jump attacks. Again, can be very good. And the best thing about the lightsaber is that it never runs out. Once it breaks, it runs out of charge basically. You just gotta wait for it to recharge. It takes like 10 minutes. That's probably the best thing about it, but a bit weak compared to the long sword. You can also use this for farming, as long as you know how many hits the node is that you're hitting. You'll just hit it one less, and then hit it with your pickaxe or your axe or whatever you're farming, because this will destroy resources. So I wouldn't actually recommend using this for farming, but it's a good way if you're a bit low on resources, or your pickaxe is a bit low and you had a lightsaber with you. You could use a lightsaber to help you out in that way. So now we're left with the tools, and of course you've got your pickaxe, your axe, and your machete. And I only put these ones in just because there's the machete that's just been brought in since the new update. So in the jungle, you are looking at hitting bushes with an axe. You're probably going to be taking, I think some of them took me about 5 to 7 hits or something like that, whereas the machete is going to take you like 2 hits. And obviously you've got your pickaxe for taking out rocks. Don't forget, obviously you're going to be using jump attacks with your tools as well, hitting trees with your axe, jump attacks, because you are going to be dealing double damage with that, and the same with your machete. Again, with the axe and the machete, I did find the same with the axe. Even jump attacks, you're looking less with the machete, and it all just depends what you want to spend on crafting your tools really, but you could also replace your axe with the machete. We've got one in here with destruction 3, durability 3 and damage 3 on. The destruction, obviously it's got a chance of taking out a resource in one hit. Now that actually works quite well with the machete and taking out trees, and I found that if you're not doing jump attacks, if you're just swinging with your machete, the destruction it seems to set in quite often. But yeah, there was just a thought anyway. You know you could swap out with the machete, but obviously the axe is the best for cutting down trees, and the machete is the best for cutting down bushes. Now we do have a shovel. Now I only had this in as well, just in case people don't know what you can actually get with the shovel. If you're on grassy areas, you're going to be getting soil from it, and you can get things like seeds and random things from the ground as well. And also you will need it for if you have a treasure map. You're going to need this to dig up the chest from the treasure map. You can get sand from the beach and the desert with this shovel, and you can get snow from the frostlands, which can be used to make ice cream. I think quite a lot of people don't know that you can make ice cream in this, and obviously we have the fishing rod, which is used for, of course, getting fishing for fish. Now, some people don't know this, but you can actually, if you have your villagers or your animals in a spot that you know that might be stuck or something like that, you can actually fish your villagers out of a spot where they might be stuck. So it could be a bit of a useful information there. And that's all of the weapons and tools. So the best ones that you're gonna, in my opinion, that you want is recursive crossbow, the iron shield. You got the musket, which is one of the best weapons. Flint knock for flying around. Green lightsaber if you're worried about crafting and helping with farming. You've got your longsword, which is going to be in my opinion, the main weapon that you want to be using for attacking. And obviously you want to be using all three of these tools. Best throwable item, stink jars. All these items on the right, they can't be upgraded. None of these can be upgraded. None of those at the top can be upgraded, and these two can't be upgraded. The only upgradable items here are these 7 here in the middle. So just bear that in mind. So I hope I give you enough information to help you make your mind up on what you want to be using while you're attacking or farming, or whatever you're doing in this game. I hope this helps. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Laters, guys.